Moving to oneness. Nourishing curiosity. Embracing differences. Becoming one.
Glowing like the sun as she does at the moment outside here in Germany, and enjoying that shine, that spark, that connection to everything that exists, and how you can integrate that into your life with a more oomph and youth, I would say. Then stay tuned for today's episode. Hello, everyone. I'm Mylene Elke, your host of the Moving to Oneness podcast. Wow, I'm sitting here in Germany, and finally, after months, the sun is shining, and on my guest, the sun is shining as well. And I think she has a little clouds. She's sitting in Lisbon, Portugal, even though she comes from a totally other continent. She will share it with you, or I have to say it already because I find it so fascinating to bring that ancient wisdom to you today from Mongolia, a woman that has, in my eyes, been so adventurous and curious what other people are about, that she has moved and traveled through 70 and more countries. So everyone, please welcome with me Aisha Makara. Hello, how are you?
Maylin, thank you for having me here. I really appreciate your way of being. You're really like delightful and joyful human being. And thank you for having me here in your podcast and sharing my wisdom and knowledge. Whatever I get to
Yeah.
share today, how the conversation would flow. We can see today it's raining outside in Lisbon, and I think like in Germany it's sunny. It's a different weather. It's so cold the last days. It was very cold. I'm finally like yesterday was warmer a little bit, and I'm feeling like a little bit more energy because when it's so cold, it feels like the houses here is also cold. You know,
Yeah.
that's it's not easy to warm up. So I feel like, yay! Finally, we're getting like 20 degrees again.
Yeah, not so bad. So we're right around anyway the winter solstice, and where there is that spark, where this coldness within our body isn't really so bad. It is in a way it condensing us, it's pulling us inward for a little bit. We get warm things to comfort us, to drink or eat, and we have time to delve in and understand ourselves. Right. And then it's going to be much easier then to unfold and expand as we go into spring, and you'll be in spring much earlier. And what I find so fascinating about you and your work, because your work is really you, if I understand everything correctly and how I see you, you're one. You don't speak one way and live another way. And also what you've written in your books, and you're an artist, and you paint, God, she paints connection lines. Aisha, you paint energy connection lines of joy, of our world, of beingness. And that is really fascinating. We'll just jump in right into your art, because I had to write it down. It is like goes from a point to a line to an intersection, and then it creates fields. And out of these fields of energy, because the form is created, and often I've seen people faces in your artwork, And then you go even deeper and give it words so we can understand it on many different layers from the color. And yeah, I just love that.
Yeah, I'm an intuitive artist. I feel like I was doing art all my life. Like I was, kind of like as a hobby. And of course, I was trying in the beginning, like doing all this a way that's the I call it like um, the technique that I like. So my first many years ago, it was mostly when I was working with oils, or I've discovered just acrylic recently, like maybe 5 years ago. Before I was working with the oils, and it's completely different. Oils takes a longer time to dry, and I had a completely different style of doing
Mhm.
art. I have like a little bit of it in some of my Instagram, my old Instagram account. Maybe I can share with you. You can see my old like
Yeah, sure.
the way I did it. And it started to evolve slowly. I think it was started to evolve end of the 2018. I've been lost, and I've been very disappointed, and I was very like upset and depressed and sad, because everything, the old ideas about family, about business, about like how the things, my idealistic mentality, or my naivety about the world was so like childish, I would say,
Mhm.
because I'm believing in all this like pink elephant, so like this dream, so happy family, or like business can grow in a way that can be very beautiful, and magical. And I was one of them who was like always positive, and I'm always positive at no matter what. And I started to get so much um like a rejection, but this was not rejection. It was kind of like I was fighting for idea that I had in my mind, and I started to kind of like work out it, and I started to create more art. My art was completely different, and I started to kind of like go with the flow, whatever I was experiencing that moment, and I was like just having these pictures in my mind the way I want to create it, and I started to kind of like create it, find the right technique, or like right tools or right media to like work on it. It was not easy in the beginning, because I didn't have so much like knowledge about the way I wanna create all this like
Mhm.
triangles. In the beginning was a lot of like a triangles, a lot of like dots and triangles, but with the colors, a lot of like a colors, because I didn't want to believe that world can be like just black and white. I didn't want to kind of like, I was like, world has so many colors, love has so many colors. And I started to kind of like create colors, and I had this like idea of like just add color to your life. Your life can be like any color you want, yellow, pink, and just wear it like in your outfit. So like not just wearing like a gray, black, like, but be more creative with the colors. And I started to be way more playful with the colors, because I was like black dresses, businesswoman, and like that time I had the property management and boutique hotel. I felt like uh so like responsible, very responsible, very serious. And I want everything. I'm a control freak, so like I want to have everything in my way, like the way I imagine for myself. And when it didn't go my way, I was feeling very like fighting for that. No, it's got to be my way, something like that. And slowly I started to change, and I started to kind of like go with the flow. I call it like this. And I was so scared to go with the flow, because
Ooh.
I was feeling like, oh my, because I'm so controlling, I was want to have everything under control. And here I am going with the flow. It was in the beginning was trusting to the process, going with the flow was so scary that in the beginning I was like, I'm lost. And I ended up living in San Francisco for like about 6 months. And I remember I had this whole conversation. I was doing like these art events and different events, all connected to very creativity and art. And I remember I had this conversation about what it is to like create your own reality, what it is to actually like living your own dream. Because I started to realize that it's always like I'm living someone else's dream, like someone
Mhm.
else idea, someone else like making million. And I was like, who make this idea of like making million? Who make this idea to be an actress? Who make this idea of like doing this and this and this? So I started to kind of go deeper with exploration, what I want to create in my life, and how I want to like live my life, the way I want to live my life. And I had this conflict within me. One part of me want to have like this belonging part, have a family and kids. Another part of me didn't want that. I didn't want to have kids. I didn't want to have family. I didn't want to have like anything like that. So I have like this major conflict within me. And because I was like, okay, I give myself that space to kind of like next relationship I will have, I would like to have a normal relationship, or like a have a babies, like, and something like that, so I get to communicate it from the beginning of the relationship. So when I end up in next relationship, I started to communicate that this after 6 months or something in relationship, this within rebellion, continue being very rebellious, and I started to continue kind of like getting out of the like me being quiet, started to kind of like be more conservative, and like kind of like on the way I want to set up myself was like not, I want to be like everyone, and
To fit in.
fit in, exactly. And I was started to kind of like this within me, this rebellion started to kind of getting out more stronger and stronger, more like louder. And I got scared again and was like, oh my gosh, I'm not normal human being. Why I cannot be normal? Why I cannot just fit in a normal setting like society, like you know, having a job, having like a normal job from 9 to 5, whatever. But I'm just feeling like everything was within me, like didn't want that, like really didn't want that. So I didn't want to accept that in the beginning. I didn't want to accept that. I want to have family. I said like I want to have family. I want to have this, and I was pushing myself, towards that, pushing and pushing, and it didn't work out. More I'm pushing, more rejection I was getting. More I was telling myself that this is who I am. More rejection I was getting,
Yeah.
and eventually what happened is like I give up. I give up, and I said to myself, you know what? I don't know anything anymore. Nothing. I know zero. So it's better like I just go with the flow. Whatever is happening is happening. And I will continue to create art because that's what I like. I get to continue to do the things that I'm doing, like going to festival to festival. And major moment of my life happened like because I was doing like a festival. I was living in a van. I was super happy, like my life was like in my world, my life was completely comfortable, super happy. I was giving workshop. I was going to all these different conferences and being invited like a speaking in the conferences, especially like
Yeah.
about art, NFTs, like crypto, and and I started to organize my own events. I was organizing a lot of my own events and going to all these festivals. So I knew that how much I would need to make. I organized my life that I was feeling very free and in my own balance. And major moment happened in my life. My bank was broken in. Everything was stolen. All my documents, all my life was gone. And I was sitting there with nothing, no phones, nothing. My van completely broken, and like it was all the windows, everything. And I'm like sitting there and didn't know what to do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is first time in my life I get to ask for support. Like asking, be vulnerable. Vulnerability was not easy for me to access because I was like always independent since I'm two, like, and I get to kind of like count on myself all the time, being my best friend for myself, like always standing for myself and doing the things like in my own. But here I am, I get to ask for support. And because I didn't know what to do at all. I'm not in control of anyone of anything, And this is what happened. I went to the, like this group of people like hippies, ask for support, and being very honest what happened. I mean, of course I got support, and I started. It was not easy. It was a job, recover myself with the documents. It took me like a year to recover, and year or even more, I think, like year or something. But it took a while to start to make money again. Like put myself back on the track was not easy because I was very, very, like in that moment of my life, I was very sad, of everything that I was fighting within myself in such a level that
The
I
not
make
not
myself,
have lived, right? The
yes.
sadness of not having oneself lived.
And that's what happened is like I realized that I get to just be patient. and learning, observing, and be more patient within myself, not like just go, 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 go nonstop because I have so many dreams to live or so many things to do. So I said, like, life is very long. I have time for absolutely everything. I don't need to rush anything. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. The thing is, it's just like I get to be way more aware what my heart wants. Listen to my heart, not my this ideas, because we women have this, what society wants. We want to kind of like
Yes, exactly. I was going to say
being
that.
within that space of like, and I started asking myself, what I want, what I really want to do in my life, what I really want to create in my life. And this opportunity to send my art to the space came out, and I was that was one of my dreams. So I applied for that opportunity, and it was very not easy at all because I didn't have nothing. I didn't. It's just like happening after like my van was broken at 2 weeks or something, like less than a month. And I'm still was recovering, and I was still in like on all these festivals because I get to go to those festivals with people, volunteer and work. And what happened is like I started to ask for support. Like, this is my dream. Many people knew about my dreams. And because I was sharing them, with kind of inspired. I was not just inspired that I have so many dreams in my, like, to live. And people were helping me. So eventually I sent my art, and then eventually like being sent to the space. But the whole journey around, like, never give up, no matter what's going on, like, always take a risk. And at the same time, always believe in yourself that while we're here, we have, we have a chance, or we have a choice to decide the way we want to be vulnerable, or the way we can ask for support, or like, believe in ourselves, or whatever we do in our life. I feel like it's very important that we know while we're here, we have opportunity and we have a choice to live our best life, no matter what's going on. No matter if you're like losing absolutely everything and everyone, and like, things happening, it's normal. It's life, right? Everything is happening in during our life.
Yeah, when the time is right, we awake. This is really
Exactly.
interesting, right? You were even speaking that the gypsies help. The gypsies have a talent. They jumpstart you, they bring you back to your origin. And you were not
Exactly.
living your origin. I would love to catch up the audience a little bit, because you're so sparking. You have so much to share. So you were an orphan. You mentioned the year of 2 years, right? And then you went to Russia and had a family where you started growing up. And so yes, you took on then first of all a fighting of a survival, right? And that fitting in, that was something very important. And even a lot of women go through the same thing you're speaking about, or maybe don't go all the way, but they're contemplating the similar problems. Do I become this wild woman, or do I go into family? And we're told, oh, if you have to have your children before 30, if you're already mid 30, you have all those problems. And we don't have that time. And you took, luckily for yourself, because it's like you're redeveloping yourself, you're recognizing yourself, and you're going out and figuring out first who you are. And I think that is very, very courageous. And I wish that for many, and especially also a lot of younger women and young men, right, that they take first the time to figure out who they are, a year or two, and to be rebellious. And you mentioned so beautifully to wear these colorful clothings, right, that express you. In your book, it's very pink and colorful. And I had thought, oh, really? It goes back to traditional customs of what people wear in Mongolia. They have a lot of colorful uh, um, sewings, and needlework, and what are the little ones?
Broderick,
Yeah, embroidery, genau, that is put onto the clothing to celebrate us. And then you were speaking also about your art and the energy. Energy is colorful. And I think not enough people speak about this, and it's very important to bring that out. And maybe artists, because it's a visual thing, it's easy to do. But so many people, healers, spiritual people, we see colors. Children see colors. Animals see all different colors in different ways. We all see color different. So it also, even the same color we look at, we see it in many different nuances. But not to forget that you were speaking in that flow and color, it always came up that each energy as it flows, different colors come together and weave and play and create new energies or new purposes or intentions of the energy, right? When they come together and then they do create a new color. So that is important. And also, you were speaking how important it is to be joyful and to explore something new. I read your book, and you really hint on in that you give a lot of tips how to live joyful, and it's exactly what you're speaking of, what the journey you went through, right? To bring that out. And you do something new every single day. And I would love you to talk about that a little bit. How did that start, that you decided to live something new every day to spice up your life?
I started to kind of like be more mindful about because I have a like many years ago I discovered that I have a borderline, and I think many have a different disorders, and I have like a borderline disorder. But I started to work on it, better and better. I started to work on it, and I decided like I saw all the things that borderline have, and I said, okay, I have this, I have that, but like it's like and I said to myself, okay, but I get to work on it. I get to start to kind of like practice better things. But what's happening with me is like I have every 6 months, whatever I do, I'm getting bored. Like my routine or something, I get to switch. And I get to add something or switch, or do something. So I started to kind of like practice. Okay. And I started to already feel like I know that when closing to the 6 months, I get to do something different. I already feel my body wants to like move to the next or do something different. So I started to look at my listen to myself better. What is next? What I can add different into my life that I will feel more excited, more joyful and happy, not getting down, but getting more up. And I started to do the things that I haven't done before. For example, I started to go to the places I never would think I would go, and many things I was doing by myself. Like I just curious and I'm just go, and people don't do that, and people don't feel a courage
Brave
to
enough?
go
Yeah,
brave
no, it's
enough or like a
important to
courage
go alone if no
go
one
alone and
follows.
do things. And I'm like feeling, I get to design my life. Every time I'm going to the new places or like living in new places, I designing my life. I'm imagining the house I'm living. I'm imagining the car I'm driving. I'm imagining if I want to drive the car or I'm on a bicycle. I'm always like imagining my life in the place. And like right now, for example, I'm feeling like, oh, I love ocean. And I just moved my second month back in Lisbon, and I'm like feeling I want to live by the ocean because it's peaceful. I like to walk by the beach. Maybe I can swim in the cold water time to time when I feel so, and I feel like it's nourishing my soul. It's nourishing me, and more I'm thinking about that, I'm feeling like yes, but it would be far away from the city. It's going to be like different lifestyle, and I said to myself, but it would be good because I will do more art. I will spend time with myself more. I will do more other things that I would like to do because city, it's like distracting you. It's so many things is happening. So many things is like there. Friends inviting you to these things, so like their things. So like it's nice. And at the same time, it's very easy to be distracted in a city. So it's not easy to stay focused all the time, because it's so many bombarding information every day. So I decided like, okay, I get to be way more mindful next year the way I want to design my life here, because I'm just like working on designing my reality here. And in reality, I want to do more art. I want to start to do more like a solo exhibitions and kind of like published my second book and like started to work towards something that I'm passionate about, continue to do something like I feel like to do, I feel like to create, and sometimes that I'm also learning as an artist, we have this up and downs, like sometimes we feel so creative and we can just write and write or, like do a lot of art. And other times we don't have the energy to create. We don't have that like a space of creative flow. And I'm feeling like I was punishing myself before. I was like, oh my gosh, now I don't have it. Why I cannot like feeling creative? Why I cannot
Yeah,
like finish this
but that
article?
never gets explained. I think I would, luckily, I was very lucky when I was a young woman and student in Atlanta. I drove to the museum, the Modern Art Museum in Atlanta, I remember. And there was a radio show called The Infinite Mind, and then he explained, talked about the depressiveness of Schumann. He wrote beautifully or composed beautiful music. Is still being heard. What's one of the top 10, I think, musicians being heard worldwide still. And the interesting part, what he said, is because when he went in his creative phase where he wrote, he was above everyone, right? Because he was ahead of his time. And then it dumped, and then, he was over and people could catch up and learn to understand his music. And what I later thought and learned for myself then is it needs strength. It's almost like an athlete, right? You train, and then you compose, then you go into action. You give all your best. For example, maybe you have a deadline or a piece of work just wants to be born, and you have months, maybe just having the canvas, and suddenly it goes. So we really go and study and feel the outdoors or the environment that surrounds us, right? We also are mostly connected really strong to what is happening in the environment. So even if we are not at home, or it's not at
Well,
home that there's the hustle bustle, but outside we can feel it, and then we're not ready. But
yeah.
then there's also our own a rhythm. So if you have done so much, it's like you need rest. Your body needs rest. Your creativity needs rest. And something has been brought out into the world, and the world has to soak it up first. Or what we've created. And I have to ask you, or asking you now, for me, my body moves me when I paint. I cannot decide I paint now because no ideas will come. If there has to be a need for my paintings, I've learned. If there's a no need, I don't even paint. It can be years. But if there's a need, then I paint. It can be a global need, or it can be of a person, or it can be the need of myself. How is that for you? Do there are certain times when you feel you did mention it a little bit. You had the need to discover yourself, so you painted really a little bit for yourself. But
I'm
then
doing
there
it all
were
the time.
also
I'm
paintings you painted for others, so they could understand a joy better, right? You love a joy. You had so many paintings or drawings about joy, so you knew it's for others. And in those pictures, there's codes, there's energy that people can pull in and raise their vibration and get that information of how it feels. For example, the love of joy. And your book title, I do have to say before you answer that, sorry. The Joyful Living Guidebook. And it talks about how your life, how you rejuvenated yourself, how you are so adventurous, how you're living yourself. But you also bring always a painting, a drawing to show it. So it underlines, and in a way it radiates what you have written in words out visually on another level, or that it can work together.
Yes, and like from my perspective, it's I agree with you on many levels. It's also like me, I'm a woman, and I'm feeling like as a woman, I have like this waves of emotions, and special when I have my periods, and like I'm feeling like we women feeling like way more of everything that's happening around us than, for example, men. Men is more self-centered in some in the sense. Women are way more like nurturing, and she's more like
Community.
yeah, about community and about like connecting and about like kind of find this like connection points and figuring out and creating peace, you know. um so I feel like general like the woman who is achieve some level of satisfaction in her life, and she's you know, in peace within herself. I feel like she started to create more, and she would you know, she will not afraid to
Good point.
create. And I'm feeling like when I achieve peace in my life, like I create like intention every year. And when these things happen with me of the, you know, with my van and, you know, all these things, that year was a peace year. And I was like, okay, I got to go deeper. And of course, I set up intention of the week, of the day, of the months. And when I go like deeper, I said like, okay, what's intention of the year? So I get to focus on that. I cannot change anything. If I will continue kind of like cry about that, talk about that, and you know, it would be too. It doesn't make sense. I get to do something, you know, kind of get to kind of like change something, and within me, be in peace with this. And I feel like that year when I created that peace, I created the idea of my peace. And I believe like everyone has capacity to create their own idea of joy. That's my book about. Like I'm doing my best to kind of explain people that everyone in charge of their own life, everyone can create anything out of their life. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter which background you have. You get to have just a creative thinking and write down. I do like journaling, I do meditation, I design my day, and I'm just feeling like we all have that. We can do that. Of course, it takes practice and, you know, and some courage and commitment to do that. And at the same time, it's like, okay, start something small. Like this is in my book as well. I'm saying like, start at something small. Start it, for example, instead to
Yeah.
go on a car to your job, for example, maybe take a metro. You have opportunity, or do something different. You know, maybe wake up a little bit earlier and start it with meditation of 50 minutes, or maybe like just do like gratitude journaling. I don't know. It's something like add a different habit in your everyday life. Add something different, you know, in your everyday life, because it will create a different outcome of your reality slowly. It doesn't happen right away, and you will see how the everything is switching around when you add gratitude into your life. When you started to see all the like grateful things around you, you know, your friends, your home, like your plants, whatever, the sun. You know, I'm just feeling like it's so much to be grateful for. It's like absolutely that I'm healthy, you know, I'm eating what I love, like something like very simple things. But people don't think about that. They're always chasing something. They're always thinking about something very far away that is not even real. And I have this tendency as well. I'm still working on that, and I said to myself, okay, be present in the moment, because when I was living in Russia, I remember I decided to travel around the world, and I didn't know how it's going to happen. And I was telling to everyone, like, I'm going to travel around the world. And I didn't speak English and no English, nothing other language, you know, except Russian. And when I got this opportunity to move as exchange student to Norway, I applied for that, of course, and some of my friends was telling me, 1,000 people applying, you don't have a chance to get in because you don't speak English, you don't have this, and everything. I said, okay. I said, like, it doesn't matter. I at least I do something towards that, because that's kind of connected to my dream. And when I was living in a small town in Russia, and I decided to move to the capital, you know, for me, it was so difficult in the beginning. I was like, capital, it's so big. When I first time arrived to Moscow, it was like crazy. It was a huge city. I got overwhelmed. I got scared. I got like a lot of different emotions, you know. And I ran away, you know, after 2 days, I think. I didn't remember, like 1 or 2 days. I was like, no, I'm going back to my little city, you know. And when I started to challenge myself, I said to myself, you know, I got to kind of create opportunity that I can move smoothly to Moscow. And that happened, you know, like that I was very active in politics, and I was very active at the university, you know, like, and the leader of the class, and like it's lead me. And after they moved me to Moscow, and I started to continue to do the thing that I'm doing. And eventually, when I had this opportunity as exchange student, I moved to Norway because I understood if moving to Norway, it's opened up more doors for me to travel around the world. And that's what happened. And I was feeling like I just feel it. I just like thinking probably it will help me if I'm getting in, it will open more doors for me. I don't know, but I'm just, thinking like it will
Yeah,
probably
it's
open
like
more
you're
doors.
really, you set out, you mentioned it, it's a dream. You set very strong intention. So you have a explorer comes to my mind. You're really exploring the world, humanity, you're exploring yourself, and you're exploring what is possible.
Mm-hmm.
If I see this directly, and I think it also comes somehow from your ancestors. That's something deeply enrooted with you. You're born this way. That is really your purpose. And you wrote that also in your book, right? For you, it's not the purpose to have $1 million and do some things with that. For many people, it may be, but you are here for something else on this earth. And I think that's what the gypsies
It
also
took
help
me a
you to
while as
remember.
well. Exactly. It
Yeah.
took me a while. Of course, I was when I didn't get into I want to be a journalist, and but I didn't get into the journalist school because I didn't have enough scores. And but it was many things. People who I was at school with, or my teachers, didn't want me to be a journalist. They didn't want me to live my dreams. They
Wow.
want me to be in a village. They want me to be miserable like everyone else. They didn't want to live my dream. They push everything to do that I don't go to the school that I wanted. Even so, I did absolutely everything to make it happen for myself. But they took that opportunity from me. They didn't want me to succeed in that space. And okay, I said to myself, okay, I was of course, it was hurtful because 10 years at school, being leader of the class, doing a lot of activities, writing a newspaper, taking care of so many things, like all these things I was doing it for the best, trusting to the process and doing like my best and believing that these teachers want me to achieve like what I want to achieve. And when I saw this jealousy, of that I have the dream and I have the enviness, I didn't understand at that time because I'm kid, I don't understand this. And now I'm kind of like more understanding, like when my friends even like still jealous of me and telling me like, oh, you're doing this, oh, you're doing that, how you can manage your life and being so rich, and I'm feeling like, well, I'm managing my life because I'm imagining things and I can actually understand the way I can, even the traveling. I used to say to my friends, when I'm traveling, actually I'm spending less money than I'm living in a normal life, like in the normal settings. And I spend maybe 2 times less, maybe 3 times less. It depends where I am in the world. And maybe sometimes 10 times less. And when I started to explain people the idea, the way like you get to go and explore until like you don't know until you know, right? And it takes time to get to know something. For example, I love to go to America. For 10 years or whatever in the road, I was traveling to America, like for 1 month, for 2 months, for 3 months, for 5 months. And eventually I moved to America. I was living there over 4 years, almost 5 years. And for me, for example, by learning about America, I was just drawing to America, but I was scared to move in because it was so expensive. It was so much, going on. And I was like, traveling is one thing. You're backpacking, you're just like kind of getting to know people. Sometimes you're staying in a couch surfing, whatever. But the thing is like you open up that space and you
Yeah.
understand
For
that
experiences,
I'm
that things
rich.
happen to you.
Exactly.
Right.
Because
New things. As you
new
said,
things,
it's
because I'm
important, new
open.
things.
I'm open to the new things, and I'm not like I'm facing it. I'm facing all my fears. Sometimes it's not easy. And first time when I went on a solo trip to, was very young and was
That's
my
important.
longest trip to Hawaii, was a gratitude training. I was like a hoponopono, and I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. So I went to that training. But in the beginning, I was like, so my longest trip, it was like almost 30 hours, traveling, and I was like, that's my solo, alone. When I arrived, my English was like very not good. I was walking everywhere with a vocabulary, and I was like open, and I was the youngest in the group, youngest woman in the group, and all the ladies, like old ladies, coming to me and asking me like, how did you know about Norway? Where's Norway? You know, I came from Norway, and I was like, oh, I read these books, you know, from this author, and you know, he said that it's a course here. I just Google it and I found the course, you know, and I kind of like decided to come. And they were like so surprised. Everyone was so surprised. Like this young lady, like just decided to come in the middle of no, like in the like so far away, you know, from nowhere. Like Norway, it's like very far away for them, you know. And you know, the funny things, Hawaii, I spent like maybe like 6 weeks in Hawaii, and traveling on all the islands, and backpacking, you know, staying in the farms and like whatever. And I just feel like that moment of my life, I was very young. You know, I want to stay in America. I want to move to like and be an actress that time. And everything unfolded towards me to be an actress. You know, I moved to Los Angeles. I met the right people. Everything just started to kind of roll in the right way. And I had a boyfriend that time from Norway. He's a doctor. And he come over to Los Angeles to get me back to Norway. I said, no, I'm not going back anymore. I'm going to stay here, because I started to go like do this background jobs. I started to learn English. You know, I said, like in 3 years, if I'm staying here, I'm for sure going to like getting good job in the acting industry. I become like a member of the Los Angeles actor, like a membership, something like that.
Guild, yeah.
I started to kind of work towards, and people like, you know, it's the job's paying you like $200, $300, $500, you know, just do background. And they give you a food, you know, they give you lunch, they give you dinner. And it's always like just networking. You know, you're young, you're 23, 24, like what to do, you know, like you just, um, I'm just feeling like that moment of my life, I felt like I could do that. You know, I had like a lot of energy, and everything was moving in the right direction. But I was not brave enough to kind of like go for it 100% in, you know, because I was so scared. There's so many things, you know, like in Los Angeles, it's
No,
just,
yeah, but you went in for a lot of things. But while I'm
and
listening
I
to you, I'm
went,
asking
I went,
how can someone else, how did it feel like to be this curious? I mean, you're really, really curious, and you know when something is right for you. Like you knew it's going back to Norway and being a civil engineer was not
yes, but
right.
the thing, you know, like when I started
But
to work
what is it?
engineer,
Can you explain to someone how you do it? This is really important. And
I don't know,
give
I just go, you know, in my mind, it's like
there's
this.
something you do. Can you boil it? Yeah, I know in your mind it's something. As a shaman, I understand
in five, in,
exactly how it works. But your role is also here to inspire, to catapult people forwards, to move people into becoming this, because they're dreaming already about it, and you're like a jump start. They can do it faster when they connect with you. So how, and as you're speaking, how are you bringing that into position? You have an idea and then you start saying,
yeah,
yes, it's
yes,
possible. Is that the
yes,
first
correct,
thing you do?
yes,
So
like,
first you
for
dream big.
example,
No, maybe it's you dream big, or if
yes,
and then you say it's
I was like,
possible.
we're like, okay, like when I moved to Norway and I was working as engineer, I started to work as engineer. I remember I was the youngest engineer again. Like I was knocking on the doors. First year, I was like after 1 year in Norway, my Norwegian was okay, you know, because I was spending a lot of time to like learn Norwegian. And I just started to knock on the doors. I was like, I'm an engineer. Here's my papers. I translated all the papers. I get the proof, you know, and everything. And I'm like, I can work as an engineer. And I started to work as an engineer. You know, I just came and just knock on the doors because, and I want to learn because I will still study, but I want to learn what it is to be an engineer, what it is to be in the field, you know, as an engineer. And I didn't like it. I didn't like to be engineer. And after I started to ask myself, like, what I want to be when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, I've been an actress. And my boyfriend that time, he said, like, just go to the study acting in Norway, you know, to the school, and just change. And I said, no, if I want to go to be an actress, I will go to Los Angeles. You know, why I get to go and be here in Norway? No, no way. You know, I want to go and to be in Los Angeles. So it was like, and I went, you know, I didn't have any money, you know, that time. I was like, I spent my last money on the on Hawaii trip. And I remember my boyfriend that time, he came over and said to me, I will not give any money if you decided to stay in Los Angeles. It's up to you, you know. And I said, okay, not a big deal, I will figuring out, you know, because Los Angeles is very warm. I said, like, I'm not going to be cold here. Even I'm going to stay under the bridge. It's okay. It's not a big deal. But of course, it didn't happen. But like in reality, I was just went for this. I started to meet people. I went to the network events and I started to acting. I started to make money, and everything is just like, but it was just moving consistently.
Yeah, it feels like you never stand still
Never
and you're
stop.
not.
But it's normal. It's normal. You're doing it
Yeah,
normal
that
because
is
it's
exactly.
networking, and you're getting to the point. But I didn't do any drugs. I didn't do any like alcohol that time. I didn't do anything. So like for me, getting into that reality was drugs, alcohol, and all of that. And like I was like, whoa, it's too much. Again, I get overwhelmed, and I'm like, everyone want me in their group, because there's so many different groups that you can belong to or you don't belong to, and you feel like I'm belonging to this group or I'm belonging to this group. And in Los Angeles, it's so easy to see that there's all these different groups in the end of the Buenos parties. You see all these different groups, who is who, they're showing it, and I remembering I was sitting there and I was thinking who I belong to, and eventually I went to the stoners, like just around the fire, sit down, and we like drumming, we were doing playing, whatever, but more like ancestors, right? More like smoking a little bit of weed and kind of like drumming all night and just talking about philosophy, about life, about like all of that. And I'm like, this is who I belong to, like to this fire, to sitting around this fire, just smoking a little bit, sharing stories and sharing the philosophy, and just like passing the joint, something like that. And I'm like, I like it. I like it. I like this philosophy club. It was like a lot about philosophy. It was not about like touching you, like trying to kiss you or something like that. It was not like anything like that at all. It was like a lot of respect, a lot of like asking who are you, why are you here, like with sort of care. I felt it, and I had this conversation with one of the person then around the fire, and he said to me, life, it's not about like what you want, like your dream or like your life. It's about continue to live and continue. But he was like old, like probably in his 60s. It's about just continue to flow. It's connected to the flow and just flow, not like controlling the way I want to do that, the way I want to do that. And I didn't understand that. It took me a while. It took me probably extra 10 years or whatever, 7 years to actually understand that life is just a flow. You can continue to dream, you can continue to have all these dreams, but you don't need to go and grab them, like this is what I want to do, because everything in life has a time, divine timing. And this is what I'm learning, like by publishing my book, by sending my art to the space, by doing what I'm doing right now. I'm feeling way more peaceful within myself, and I understand like money is, it's energy. Money coming and go, and I've been like in the low points in my life with no money, nothing, zero. And what it scares me, first time when I was no money, I was end up like renting apartment, and the COVID hit. I had a first time in my life I had like minus 200 in my account. And I think I wrote it also in my book. But and I said to myself, "Oh my gosh, it's just so crazy! Never ever in my life I had this, and here I am in America, and I'm like, I don't know anyone. I don't have any like really good friends, and how I can get out of it. Slowly, of course, I started to do art classes for the kids, and I get out of this. But the thing is like next time what this situation happened with me, like broken in the van and and no money, nothing, I was like, okay, it's not a big deal, because you're learning, you're not anymore like so stressed out or so nervous or so like anxious about that. You're learning that I will figure it out.
You're learning about that you have ability. I think this is it. Genau, that is that you have an ability to do whatever you desire and what is needed. That is a strong inner strength. You've cleared out much of your confusion, and you're very clear of how you function. And if we are, then you're peaceful, right? You speak about it. Then we are also joyful. And then it's easier to say, okay, I'm right now here. What is the next step? It will show itself. And then you act when it's
Exactly.
shown. And I think that's what you've done. I want to go one more time and say just something you're also not afraid of rejection because you try over and over. And I want to explain the space, what you're talking about space. Your first art was a crypto art, is something engraved into gold, sent up, or that art sent up into space, right? Every few artists came together and you engraved something onto a gold on a metal, and that was boom, sent out. And I looked at those two pieces, and that boils also back down to what you do. You are really connecting, and even the information, it's very simple, a few lines, but it's like a code language. It's a language that you somehow, for me, it was, I'm here, I understand what my role is, and I'm going to do it now, because you have many years to go, Aisha. You're going to influence so many people and show them how you can go from nothing again into a lot of money. And again, then if this happens again, that there's nothing, you just recreate it. And you show people, which is so important. We have been thousands of years, and especially women, because they were always following what they were told, what role to play, that we become more flexible, that we come out of our stagnation of inflexibility and practice. And in your art, your book, your whole persona, right? If you do yoga, you meditate, you do really that every day, and you explore new things, that your body is fit, that you can be creative, right? You and your body are a team. And this is so important in my eyes, Aisha, that people see that, especially also women and young people at the moment. There's so many young people that don't know what to do, and they come out of school and they know that route doesn't fit them. And we don't teach enough, I believe, the parents, or because we also don't live it yet, parents or teachers or the government or the workspace, that they can be who they are. And then they sow lunch, and then they do just something.
Exactly.
And you, I think, in my eyes, are someone who inspires to explore. And try it out. And if it fails, it's okay, because then you try something out again. And it comes out of every cell of you. It oozes out and it radiates out.
Exactly. Because like I just learned one thing, it's like you get to continue to explore, continue to like go for something that you don't know, and it's there for you, like for example, it's everything is a skill. Like it doesn't matter what you like learning or you're doing, it become a skill after a while, especially when you're paying attention to that.
Yeah.
You started to kind of like spend more time, and you started to, because you're curious about that, and you continue kind of developing that. For example, like kids, when they started to play guitar or play instrument, they're curious about that. You don't need to go to school like and teaching them. They will bring at home, and they will do that whole day long, just playing and playing for hours and hours and hours. And that's why I know that kids, you just guide them. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to tell, no, you're going to be this, you're going to be that. No, you get to just observe them and guide them. You just show them different thing by showing them that this exists, this exists, this exists, and they will navigate themselves by themselves. And you get to just like say to them, okay, you want to do this, let's get your guitar, and kid would sit there and playing guitar all day long, because that's what they're passionate about right now. And you don't know if they're going to be passionate about that for 6 months or 1 year or 3 years or 10 years. Maybe just going to be for like a little bit. And we get to give them that space to be
Beautiful.
creative, to explore, and give them as much time as they want to go and dive into that. And I'm just feeling like many people they cannot get over their own emotions. For example, when they fail, I'm just like, I was interviewing many entrepreneurs, and who fail, who lost like a lot of money, and like not their money, but like I I learned one thing. Some of them recover very fast. Some of them takes time to recover. Some of them never recover after the experience. They just don't want to do that. They're scary, take that responsibility again. And from my perspective, why? Why it's like this? why people like taking, like they have, as I used to say to them, look, you had opportunity to raise 1 million or 10 millions and you lost them. It's okay. It's okay. As far as you understand, that was amazing, like a point of your life where you can actually go and get for the 100 millions next time. Maybe fail for 100 millions. I don't know. And it's up to you to decide. Many people, some of them going for the 100 millions who lost 10 millions. And I'm just feeling like not so many of them have that capacity or like that energy to move themselves to the next level. And that's why I was also interview many homeless people. And I was asking them like few questions. I was asking them like, why did you decided to be homeless? Because it's also a decision. Many people don't understand. Oh, it's just like, life has just do this to me. And I said, no, it's you decided. And you decided to be in that zone because you choose to. It's not like nobody, want you to be there. Many people want you to get out of it and come back to the normal life and come back to the normal society. You don't want to. You choose to be there because you're feeling sorry about yourself. You're feeling victimized that society doesn't love you, or whatever. Like my mother abandoned me, or like my wife did this, whatever. Like everyone has their own story. It's sad story, but many of them, they cannot recover of that story. They're just living in that past instead to focusing what I can do now, how I can, in America, you have so many amazing opportunities that you can succeed as American and as immigrant. It takes a little bit extra time, to succeed. And I still believe like everyone in America can succeed when they focus, and ready to work 10 years of their life, a lot of time to just work, probably not getting any vacation at all. And I believe they can achieve some level of success, like really like being very, very good at something because it's everything done for that. And people who fail and who decided to be in the street is their choice. And that's why I before I was helping them, I was always like giving money and like whatever food and, like serving as a volunteer, doing a lot of work to kind of like understanding them and feeling sorry. And but I started to ask myself, because I'm feeling sorry for them, I'm feeling sorry for myself as well. And I don't like it. I shouldn't feel sorry for myself because this happened, that happened in my life. I don't want to victimize myself because the things happening in my life, I'm a winner and I'm here to win. I'm here, I'm already a winner, by being here on the planet Earth. I'm already like,
You're a winner. Yes, yes.
exactly. And I believe
That's what you need to
all of us
teach,
are
that
winner.
we grow up to know that we're winners and we're not losers. We're taught. I mean, there are many examples where we can go into where we're taught, or some do go through the extreme trauma, that we're losers. Government, I mean, we're not going to go there. But you are a possibility. You're showing that we can be winners, and that each single, it's not even a competition in way, that it can be done. I would say,
Exactly.
right, that it can be done. And each little step, and then even if that you always showed curves, it is not a straight line. Don't get depressed if it's not always a rising line, but that there are dips and that we can get up. But we're educating. It also provides us experiences. We meet people. We expand our a knowledge of ourselves, of others. We learn to understand others, right? And that's what you also experienced and are then able to bring into any event, book, whatever you take on, Aisha, you bring that in. So nothing is for nothing, right? Our experience feed us and make us to be that individual that we are. And that is for me also my pet peeve. That people see that we are so unique and are so beautiful, and to, in a way, be that little bit rebellious. I was lucky I had two rebels as parents, but that is in me too, and I'm born like you, Aisha, to go for it. And it's not always possible, and I understand that, and you shared that as well with the audience. And that is also okay. It comes in phases, and sometimes they're long, short, or short times, those phases. And then you take, exhale, breathe, relax, get fit again, nourish yourself. And what else did you say so beautiful? To surrender, to go with the flow, and also, what was it? No, there was so much.
I would love to share with you that, for example, like about emotions. Emotions, it's great to have them. It's great that we navigate our emotions. It's also like good that we understand our emotions, where they come from. For example, for me, I know like when I'm very emotional, I know that I'm in my period time. It's my period is coming. So sometimes I can control my emotions, sometimes I cannot, because I'm a woman. It's like very strong.
If it's a hormonal,
Hormone, it's like just getting out. And I'm feeling like it's very important to understand that as well. And many, like from my perspective, I also learned one thing about relationship, for example, with people, like romantic relationship or business relationship. Like people say something and they don't mean it. They say something, even in a business, they will continue to kind of like um, dragging you because they promise you something, and in reality they don't want to do that, and they will continue to lie in your face saying to you, yes, I'm about to do that soon, and you kind of like trusting to that idea. So I don't like that when people lying to themselves. I used to say, you're not lying to me, you're lying to yourself first, by saying that to someone else, like you're not going to do, that you're not going to do, and you're still lying, to like uh, to the environment, or like to everyone around. In romantic relationship, for example, I also learned one thing, like people can say things like yes, I'm this one, how do you describe, I'm this one, like exactly that, what this, I want exactly the same things. And when you start a relationship, you realize that yes, the idea can be the same, the idea, but the understanding towards how you go towards that idea, the direction or the path is completely different. And that's also very important to communicate that, and also like understanding that, like, oh, we have this dream together, and the reality, we have a different path towards that dream, the way we want to go towards that. And the communication is very important. And when the other person doesn't communicate with you honestly as well, it's getting confusion, because in reality they want to do that or they don't want to do that. They just say to you to do that, and in reality they're not ready to do that.
It's like
They
a
don't
holding
have a
pattern for the
bravery.
other person.
Exactly. Or have courage to say, no, I'm not ready. I don't have this issue, and when I'm not ready, I will say to you right away, I'm not ready for that, I'm not ready yet. I don't know when I'm going to be ready. Right now, I'm not ready, and I don't want to push myself. Every time I'm pushing myself too hard, it's hurting me first. And this is what I'm communicating with people, like, it's okay not be ready. You can say, I'm not ready. Don't be scary, because like I'm feeling like every time when you're in a relationship, and a romantic relationship, it's your best friend. It's I'm my best friend for myself, and I'm going to be my best friend for the rest of my life. And every time when I'm with someone, I'm building my relationship very honest and direct, and I want to have like as easy communication as possible. And I expect from other person the same. At the same time, I'm learning people not like this. They're not direct and honest like we Mongolians, but in reality, I'm patient. I'm like, okay, this person is not like doesn't know what they want. That's the reality. They don't know what they want from the relationship.
So then, but that's also what I've noticed when I looked through your work, and I think what's important for you, you're helping people to know what they want.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's important to. It's not easy to, even if you have all your life not thought about it, you cannot suddenly, someone can come, so what do you want? Things have to unravel. Some have to dissolve, disappear. You have to become aware. There's a lot of awareness work, right? And then once you're aware, then space opens up where you can even find what's in there, what you really wanted to do, or what did I want, and memories come up what you wanted to do as a child. And you become more secure and secure as you go and learn about yourself, and your language changes, the way you communicate with others changes as well. You're so right. So if someone does want to work with you, Aisha, how can they reach you best? Because I know you're now in Portugal, sometimes you're in the US, but you do still jump around because, you still have a few countries to go and visit.
Many countries to go.
Yeah.
Um, you can reach me on my website, Aisha.today. It's AISHI.today, where you can book time with me. I have a mentorship program of 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months, where we dive into our dream life, or the way you want to improve your life and make your life more joyful and more colorful. And I also have my book. You can find you can just Google it, Joyful Living Guidebook by Aisha Makara. And you can see right now I'm on a different platform. So you can just decide at the platform that you would like to buy it from. And for the Americans auditorium, it's like Amazon. It's easy way.
Yeah,
So like,
around the world nowadays.
yeah, yes. And otherwise, you can always, if you would like to see my art, or I don't have so many like pieces right now available. I just creating. I'm just working towards my next exhibition. So I'm like, all my art is already sold. But I can always like create something. But the way I create
Commission work. You can do commission work for people.
yeah. And I create like in my own kind of flow, if they open towards, like, sometimes I do like energy portraits, like just reading the energy, and like writing something, the story behind what I feel, and the story about the human being I'm connecting. I'm doing like kind of like a healing session, but it's art healing session. I call like energy healing sessions. When I was living in Miami or Florida, I was doing the sessions with people, and many people will love it. They really feel like connected and feeling more like that. I can read their energy. I can read their well-being, where they are right now, and some of them getting scared, some of them getting more curious, like, and they will call me witch or whatever. It was very interesting.
No worries. That's changing.
And I was like, okay, I can be a shaman. It's better. Like, call me a shaman.
You're very connected. Yeah, you're
Yeah, and
connected
I was
to
wearing
star
this
nations. You
basket.
have ancestors that are very powerful healers. Yeah, and
Yes.
wisdom keepers. Yeah, so that is you have a lot of knowledge, and you're interested in people, so you read people really well.
Very well, yes. And I don't judge people either. Everyone is in their own life, in their own flow, in their own path. I respect that. And from my perspective, like, I just improve people's life when I'm in their life. I make the life way better, more colorful. Even I'm just there, just being me. I'm lifting up their energy, and I'm feeling like more I'm in their life, more like the changing is happening in their life. I started to observe that too. I'm really improving people's life in such a like magical and powerful ways. And some people, like, I have a faith that they will see that one day. And I'm not like saying to them, look how much I'm improving your life. I don't do that. um I'm just feeling like I just know that I see that, and I'm very happy and grateful that it's happening, and I'm feeling like so blessed to have this like powers, to help other people, support other people with their dreams, whatever dreams they have. And like everyone has a different dream and different way of creating the dream, and
Yeah, it's like boutique work you do.
exactly, and I'm just guiding them, with a conversation, with a question.
Yeah, you give them also though really things to do. You looked in, that's really important. It's not just lectures. You really make them do things to explore themselves, and I really like that. And that is a rare find in my eyes.
you know how many my friends already help, like they're really, some of them in Miami, like some of them want to be rich or like want to be this, and I just guide them, you know, I just tell them, okay, go and do this, you know, and you get to do that for at least for 3 years, and you will see the results, you know, and like, and some of them who's following my words or like just did what I kind of like said to them to do, they succeed. Like 100% of them succeed. Some of them who's kind of like projecting and didn't like started to kind of fight with me on that. I said to them, you know what? It's your life. Just do you. I'm not here like to teach you anything like that. I'm just me. I'm guiding you. I call myself like a guide. I'm not a teacher. You know, I just guiding you, and it's up to you to decide you want to take it or not. You want to move it or not. You want to create it or not. Everything is optional. You know, it's nothing in life. It's you have to do that. I mean, if you're mother or father, you have to do things. You know, it's like an infinite role that you choose to have in this lifetime. Otherwise, you know, it's even so, like sometimes I'm saying to the people, even so you choose to be a mother, it's a responsibility. If you don't, you can just abandon the kid. The kids will grow up itself as well, so you don't need to do that responsibility if you don't have this like a strong judgmental things inside of you. My mother abandoned me, so it's all good. I grew up, everything is fine, you know, like I believe like it's everything is just like the best what you can do for yourself first, you know.
Beautiful.
Like I've met women who decided to keep their kids with their husbands or with their parents or whatever, and they decided to leave their career and like doing their career for the better and better because they choose to focus on themselves, not on the kids. And the kids still love them, you know, if they're staying with the father or staying with the parents. I have many different experiences, so everyone decided what best for them. And I always say to the people, always choose what best for you, because that's the best
Important.
for you, first of all, for nobody else. Don't, you know, don't attach to other people's opinions either. Decide which opinion you want to take or not, you know,
Mm.
because it's all about this, like you can give me some opinion or whatever, some kind of feedback. It's up to me to decide to take it in or not, you know, to say like, okay, I respect you, I respect your opinion, and I don't, you know, I don't need this, you know, in my life. I'm fine the way I am, you know. I appreciate it. Many people, you know, getting very personal, and I say like, nothing in life is personal. We make it personal, you know. Like you have your life, and you filtering the opinions or whatever you want to share with me through your filter of life, and I'm doing from my filter of life. And I'm feeling like everyone, would they understand that we're just living through the filter, and we decided like my life is a colorful and beautiful and my magical. I used to say to people, my life is a comedy, adventure, and fairy tale. You know, that's my life is that I decided many, many, many years ago that my life is like this. And it's true. Like when I look, I'm just funny, a very like funny human being, very open-minded, and I'm like curious, you know, I'm like a kid, like happy kid. And at the same time, I'm an adult woman. But this is just like recently yesterday, I was like, Aisha, you're adult woman. What it is to be adult woman? Adult
Yeah, I
responsible.
never get
And
that part
I'm
either.
like, I'm still confused. I'm like, what it is to be adult responsible woman?
Yeah, once upon a time it was very simple when those rules were set up, right? When you had your period, then you were a woman, or men had certain things, or maybe you had a ritual. But I also don't like that expression, happy like a child. I said, now I'm a woman. Why can I not be happy like a woman? And we always, it's also in that expression, it's like we look down on children that because they're happy. I never really like that, or in a child. I'm now here in this moment, in this age as I am, and that's where I'm happy, I'm peaceful, and whatever. And you show that to the world, and you always, every time I've spoken with you, you're happy. Ach, Aisha, we can go on and on. You have so much more to share. So I invite everyone, do connect with Aisha. Look at her artwork on her website. Maybe you work together with her, or you read her book. And not just soak in now the energy. It will be in your body now anyway from listening to the podcast or this episode. or watching it. And be courageous, be curious, and explore yourself as you explore the world. And we're here for you. Do the best. So, again, Aisha, thank you for being here and sharing your grandeur with the world. We're looking on for your second book and all the exhibits you're going to create, and where they show more you, where you don't adapt. And I think that's important. That's really important for everyone. Create more the things you want to create and show them to the world the way you are, the way you want to express yourself. So thank you, everyone. I'm Mylene, your host of the Moving to Oneness podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.